So I can't really sugarcoat this for you, and I wish it was a better outcome, but mistakes have been made. And yes, those mistakes were totally my fault. Some ideas and concepts that I had should have been left on the drawing board, like this. But we'll talk about that later. Because this third installment is all about how I got from here to putting them in the grow out tank. But in my channel I always try to show you the good, the bad and the ugly in fish keeping. And yes, I will make mistakes along the way, but it's what you do with them mistakes and learn from them mistakes that'll always make you a better fish keeper. So I've went from all them fry that you've seen in that clip down to just 10. And yes, it's been my fault. Some ideas, like I say, have worked and some haven't. I think most importantly is water quality. I wasn't on top of water quality. So this is the setup now, but if you remember, it wasn't always like this. And it was siphoning from the top of the filter back into there. Now, I know this filter has got like a pre-filter on the bottom before it goes up in the tube and into here, but we're still stuck sucking all the rubbish back out and into here. So I decided to get rid of that, take the feed straight from the filter where it's been completely filtered back in. Now also I was having trouble with flow. That's quite a strong flow coming back in. So what I've done, I've made the flow go through a sponge so the fish aren't constantly on a treadmill, which is improved, but has improved just that bit too late. So you might think this is actually a bad way of doing it by taking the water out of there instead of using continuously fresh water. But I've introduced these fry into any bugs, bacteria that's going to be in tanks going forward. So I have built up a strong 10 with the immune system. Whereas if I had done it with all chemicals, kept them in pristine water conditions, didn't introduce them into any bacteria, any of that, I could have manufacturally produced more, but would they have been as strong, is what you have to ask yourself. Well, that's the way I'm looking at it. Finally, starting to take flake. Just let me know that it's time to move them on to the grow tank, which is conveniently downstairs in my fish room. Here's a quick close-up of the fish that I've got before I move them downstairs. They're looking a little bit washed out at that minute because the lights have just actually come on. But on some of them, you can actually see the stripes of the MANACAPURU. It'll probably be about 6 months before they get any signs of the redbacks like the parents, which are spawning quite regularly now. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the next time I'm more prepared. Then we'll get a better yield. But I have to make do with what I've got. I've got 10, let's grow them out. So I'll insert a little montage of how I got from point A to point B in this video. Week 1 after hatching. As you can see, from the numbers that hatched to the numbers that I've got left now is drastically reduced. So the water quality at this point was pretty good. But as you can see by this picture, it suddenly turned bad by the way I was introducing water into the fry box. And I made a fatal mistake by having too coarse of a sponge in, and the fry was swimming into the holes in the sponge and getting trapped. And this is where I lost the most of them. I think at this point I had about 30 left, possibly a few less. But mistakes had been made and I quickly rectified that after a quick clean out of the fry box. So we'll have a quick look at these While I'm cleaning them, I'll put them into this glass jar. We'll see how many we've got all together. I think at this point I'm counting around about 12, 13ish. We'll have a quick count once we get them on the bench and have a look. Yeah, 14. So at this point I've got 14 fry left out of all those that got hatched. Definitely my fault with the water quality. So I haven't been that successful in raising these fry to adulthood. But it's a learning curve. Hopefully next time I'll get a few more through. So here's a quick look at the fry before I put them back in the container and put them back into the tank. Looking pretty good so far. Just not really happy about the numbers. So at this point I still hadn't realised about the dirty water coming from the wrong part of the filter back in, and you can see build up starting to happen straight away, and it was at this point I realised I needed to do something about it. So the water source from then on come from the clean side of the filter. Here's a quick close-up of the fish that I've got before I move them downstairs. They're looking a little bit washed out in that minute because the lights have just actually come on. But on some of them you can actually see the stripes of the MANACAPURU. First of all, I'm going to take the seasoned sponge from the tank they grew up in and transfer that to the tank downstairs and do a quick swap between these two sponges. Next to go in, the fish. Disconnect it from its life support machine. Soapy filter. Down there. Like that. There's a quick top down look at the fish. Not much to look at the minute, but they will get pretty stunning as they grow up. That one is some size triangle compared to the rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, definitely 10. Well, I'll just float the little container just for a bit, just to get the temperature the same. I've tested the water between the two, and they are both same temperature. Can I fit this in? And release. There we go. 10 juvies in the new home. So the good thing about this tank compared to the one upstairs, I now can have a good look at the fish and see if I'm going to have any possible casualties out of all of them. I am seeing one that looks a little bit deformed compared to the rest. You can see which one I mean. In the middle of the pack there, between all of them. Seems to be a little bit deformed compared to the rest. We can see the stripes starting to come in that one already. Yeah, I don't think that one's going to last. As you can see, he's looks like a bit of a bent tail as well. That's the thing, you can't really tell until you get them in here and observe them swimming properly. I think it's definitely going to lose one out of the M10. I think I'll add some floating plants just to give them a bit of cover. I mean, your water lettuce. Help keep the water healthy for the fish. Yeah, he's definitely got something wrong with him. Trying to see what I can do for him. He's settled down a bit there now. So going forward, breeding fish, I think it's imperative that I get them into a fresh tank of their own as soon as possible, even if I'm floating the fry tank in their own little domain. So that's it for the MANACAPURU breeding project for now. Probably come back and see what happens to them after this. And who knows, I might have some other little projects on the go with either these fish or some other fish. But if you want to see them, make sure you come back. Until then, ta-ra! Boo!